There we are.
So ridiculous. How are we doing this? We're done. We're done.
All right, we're done. Hi, everybody.
We got millions of people tuning into the keynote.
That's so niche. Maybe you have some idea of what we were just doing, but that's just our little promo image for our keynote. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the first ever Master Keynote Live. We are Kyle, Maddox, Matt, and Jen. We are the team at Master Games, and we wanted to come in today for an hour to, one, tell you a little bit about ourselves, and two, tell you about some of the milestones that Keymaster has experienced in the last year. Typically, we'd be seeing you in person, and this year is a little bit different, but we're not going to talk about that. We're really happy that you're here, and regardless, it's been a whole year since the last time we got together, regardless if it was in person or not. There's been a ton that's happened at Keymaster Games, and there's a lot of things to celebrate, so we want to do that right now. Why don't we start off? We'll go around the circle. Kyle, why don't you start us off? Just tell us really briefly, because I think we want to do analogies for how we explain how we do our jobs. We'll leave that to the salad questions. So just tell us briefly who you are and what you do at Keymaster Games. What's your title?
I think first you forgot the "What's up, everybody."
I don't want to take that from you.
No, I don't. That's an inside joke. I think this whole thing's going to be full of inside jokes. I hope. Just let people in. I'm Kyle. I guess I do a little bit of everything. Founder, Kyle Keymaster Games started 5 years ago. Matt, keep me honest. How long ago was it?
Oh, we're at 5.5 now.
5.5, yeah.
Legally 5.5.
Yeah, see, Matt's our legal guy. So I just say general stuff. Matt will keep me honest. Yeah, started off with a little card game, roped Maddox in. He designed Control, threw it on Kickstarter.
All right. Well, there you go. Let's just stop there. Maddox, tell us what you do.
What I do?
Just really briefly. Try to use the fewest amount of words you ever used ever.
Mechanics work, and I make artwork.
Do you make artwork or do you make art?
Oh, that's a good double entendre.
That's what I'm saying. That's my answer. Make mechanics work and make artwork. Those are my two. You said make it quick. I do artwork and work with artists.
Some people call that creative director. If we wanted to sound fancy, so we've got Kyle, founder, Maddox, creative director.
Yeah, I guess you could give it that title, but I think
I guess. I'm pretty sure we do when you sign emails.
No, but here's the important thing. Maddox, do you do spreadsheets?
Only for game mechanics in a very rough way.
Oh, see, you should have just led with spreadsheets.
Spreadsheets. Not in the way that I can make it a game. You can make a whole spreadsheet, a game in a spreadsheet, like tallying numbers and things. So Matt's our
spreadsheet guy.
Spreadsheet guy.
I don't. That's it. I feel like that. Everything I do here involves spreadsheets.
Some other like name of authority though, right? Like president.
Sure. I am the leader of finance and operations.
Leader of the pack.
Yeah, that's logistics, Matt. That's just that's spreadsheets, I guess too.
That's what it really.
Oh, trust me. You want to see the spreadsheet for the Kickstarter that just sent in? Yeah, need spreadsheets to get people their games.
Spoiler: you do not want to see the spreadsheets. They're scary looking.
They are as good as the art Maddox brings forward.
For laymen, what I mean is they're beautiful. They are works of art themselves, but they are a little intimidating for the layman like me. Who just
the only sheets I spread are over me when I lay into bed at night.
Oh, that joke number one. Keep it a tally.
One.
And I'm Jen, and I translate all of Maddox's jokes onto social media. And sometimes I copy edit them so that they are social media friendly before I put them on social media.
They're actually funny. You're like, this would be better.
If you've ever emailed Keymaster Games, I'm probably the one who's responded to you. So hi, I'm Jen. I'm the one who responds to you on email. I try to be as nice as I can thank you all for everybody's written in. And I also do some game work, right? So Matt is underselling himself because he does spreadsheets, but he also does game design. Turns out Kyle does game design, Maddox does game design. I do some game design. We all are developers. We're pretty integral. We like to be super hands-on for the games that we're making as well. Hey, Matt, just really quick. Oh, you got it. Never mind. Don't even ignore me on the Twitch stuff. If you are writing in, just so you know, we're going to start asking, we're going to do some roundtable questions for the team to give you an idea of one, what it really means to be a 4-person team making games, especially in the world where we're super fortunate. We've made a game called Parks that people have really fallen in love with, which we're so grateful for. It's really exciting to see how people have fallen in love with it. It means that our jobs are really tight knit when it comes to being a 4-person team and making it all jive. So we want to give you a little bit of more information there. If you have questions for us, if you want to know a specific dad joke from Maddox, if you want to know,
Please don't.
don't ask, don't get him started. He can do plenty on himself. If you want to know tips and tricks on spreadsheets while we're here, just send us a comment in either of the chats, and we'll be catching those, and we'll send them to the team so that we can answer them. So let's get started with my first question for the team, which is, if you were a salad ingredient, what would you be? Let's start with Maddox this time.
Meat.
Now this is what?
Well, wait. When you say salad, like you're probably talking Chipotle to Maddox, right? Like
Or chicken salad. That's
okay,
like one of my favorite salads.
You have to describe the ingredients and how that is analogous to your job in our team. So if we were a salad, what ingredient would you be? You're still meat? Is it still saying meat?
Tarragon. How about that?
Who puts tarragon in their salad?
Put it in my chicken salad.
the spice.
It's a spice, exactly. That's the. I'll be the spice in the mix, just the right amount. You get too much of me, and things are gonna go bad. But you get the right amount and it tastes right. How about that? That's what I am in a salad.
Okay.
Things like that.
Matt, what about you? What ingredient are you?
So I have to pick a full salad, or I pick an ingredient?
Apparently, you get to define what the salad is too.
Yeah, and this salad, yeah.
Listen,
imaginary salad. We're all talking about different salads.
I'm
so
the lettuce. I'm the lettuce, right? You know, you're gonna sprinkle things on top. You're gonna weave in the cucumber, tomatoes. You're gonna, put your nice slice of filet on it. But you need lettuce. Don't let any of these chicken salad haters tell you need lettuce.
Lettuce is green. Matt manages the money. Makes sense to me.
But to be clear, are you iceberg lettuce or are you doing some arugula?
Oh, definitely butterleaf. Definitely butterleaf.
Okay. Okay.
Are you not just putting that on a burger? Come on.
I mean, you can. You can put me on a burger if you want. You can chop me up, put me in tacos.
He's doing the low carb burger, just wrapped in lettuce.
That's right, lettuce wrapped.
Lettuce is perfect.
Stay carb free.
Right.
You know what? Let's be honest. The bread is just taking away from the burger. It's just masking things. The flavor all in the middle. That's all.
Whoa.
We're not talking about burgers here. We're not here to get in debate about burgers. Kyle, what ingredient are you?
I'm gonna go with the bowl. Yeah.
Oh.
Whoa.
You can't eat a salad out of nothing.
You gotta have something to put the salad in, right? And I'm just gonna, make sure everybody's
just a mess.
Everybody's keep Maddox contained from spreading all over the place.
Right.
Hold Matt while he's going crazy on spreadsheets.
He chops up that lettuce really fine, and you're like, "Hey, let's put that back in a bowl."
Let's put that. Yeah. Let's come back.
Let's bring it back to the bowl.
I just like to eat salad on plates, though, so I don't.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's weird. That's strange. How are you getting all the goodness? What about when you get to the bottom and you've got leftover dressing at the bottom?
Oh,
what are you doing?
Spoon it in your mouth.
You're a scraper. Yeah. Okay. Didn't know that, but that's okay.
Scraping is last name. Matt Scraping.
Well, I was was gonna say that I was nuts, but nobody said salad dressing. So
Yeah,
I feel like
I would have taken you as salad dressing.
I guess I have to pivot to salad dressing, because I'm the one who's putting flavor on top of the stuff. When it comes to sharing it with the community, sending stuff out, I feel like I'm doing that jokes, putting that stuff out there, making Maddox sound funnier than he is. I don't know.
Right. It's crazy. I'm nuts, I'm just crazy.
No, you're tarragon. We're trying to be like, cool, we never wanted tarragon in our salad, but now we're gonna go try to make a tarragon salad.
Veritable tarragon salad. Great.
The spice, Maddox. You control the spice.
That's right. Oh, the spice. I need the spice in my life.
The Grain's also looking for clarification over on Twitch about the type of lettuce. So I think we got clarification on that, though a little, maybe not the lettuce you were expecting.
Nope.
Let's switch it up a little bit. So right now we're in the process of doing production on getting production going on Parks Nightfall. Parks Memories are being manufactured at our manufacturer Panda right now. And we're really excited. Like, our fall is just Parks back in stock, Parks expansion back in stock, Parks Memories, which is our brand new game of 2020, in stock. We can't wait to give that to you. Right now, we're in a really unique moment where we have tons of development time while we wait for that stuff. So Panda's got to do their printing, and while we wait for them to send us stuff to approve, we have just a little bit of wiggly rooms. Whiteboard space, I think, is what Matt likes to say. He wants to make spreadsheets on his whiteboards too. So tell us, Matt, you can start us off. What's the most fascinating thing you researched in the past month?
Well, so I'll say that probably more tactical than fascinating to a lot of people, but I've been learning how to get things into tabletop simulators so that we can do long distance development. So not necessarily researching cool themes or how things function. Although if you haven't checked out Masterclass, Will Wright on Masterclass, who's the designer of SimCity, he talks a lot about how he invented Sim Ant, which is a early 90s game. He invented it just reading about ants and decided to make a game. So somewhere along the lane, maybe I'll design a game about how to make a digital tabletop game. Is that meta enough for you?
That's like so meta.
A deep dive into the digital.
My first bonding experience, though, was over Video Game Dev Story, a great simulator where you're trying to build a video game company up in this little
Maddox and I sat on a couch until 1 a.m. watching Attack of the Show. G4 coming back, by the way. Watching Attack of the Show and playing video game dev. That's how our friendship started. That's for sure. Look at us now.
Lots of sim-style games, though. It seems like Matt are your jam.
They are. I love me some sim games.
All right, I'll go next. I'll pass it to Kyle. So we were just talking. We were over in Campy Creatures earlier, and we were talking about the engineers. We were playing with the engineers, people over there in that set in the Mortal deck. And we kept mentioning currents and stuff. So I'll say the most interesting thing that I've been researching lately has to do with currents and electricity. Lots of electrical engineering things that it's super fascinating, and I am really excited to know a little bit more about that. I feel like a smarter person, and like if I ever owned a home, I might actually not electrocute ourselves, which is, I think that's important. I think that's like a life skill and something that applies to something that I'm toying around with. Electricity, boom. Kyle, what have you been, what's a fascinating thing you've researched?
Gosh, there's been a lot. I think probably the most fascinating thing is I started, well, the team knows this, but I started collecting stamps. And this is only because I inherited a large stamp collection from the 30s and 40s. And so like I dove into that, and Maddox actually went with me to the Philatelic Society. This was like 2 years ago or something like that. We took that collection to a Philatelic Society in Athens, and they had looked at it. And I just like set it aside. But I, with parks and some of the parks, I started diving into the stamps of the national parks. right? And so I've been like deep diving into stamps of the national parks and all the history and stuff like that. But the most fascinating stamp stuff I stumbled upon was we'll call it a scandal, the scandal of the Apollo astronauts that snuck stamps and first day covers onto the shuttle. And they went into, Matt, I love that face, because they took them into space without NASA knowing. And then they brought them back, and they did it for.
They got in a ton of trouble for it too. Like those
huge, and they were supposed to go on more.
Yeah, they never got to go in space again.
Never again. And then the funny part is in the next, like maybe the next launch, or I'm not completely, I'm still looking into all this stuff. NASA started sending stamps and stuff up into space, like after that, to sell off afterwards. I was like, wait, that was an excellent idea. And so they started sending like large packages of these up there. But you can buy one of those stamps and the covers, they call them covers. So it has like an envelope with the stamp on it. One of the original ones that flew up as a scandal. You can find them online.
It sounds like it could be like the most boring espionage movie of like, did you sneak the stamps onto the space?
You know what? They probably already tried to make a movie out of it. They were ready, and they were like, wait, turns out this story isn't.
I got the stickers that we're bringing.
I don't know if this is as big as we thought it was going to be, because we really just like this idea and we want to monetize it.
They pitched it to Nicolas Cage, but then it got shut down.
That's right. Maddox, tell us something fascinating you've researched in the last month.
Wildfires. I feel like they're pretty crazy. And
Have you've gone down a rabbit hole?
Respect for hot shots and the guys that put their life on the fire lines, working hard to dig fire breaks and whatnot, and just going deep into that hole of wildfires. It's been great.
Yeah, there's tons and tons of stuff, right? You shared a document. It was just a terminology document, and it's just like one of those continuous scroll things, and you can scroll for a long time on that document before you hit the bottom.
It's a whole deep world.
Whole deep world. All right, we've got a couple questions from the audience, so let's hop over there really quickly. So this is a round table. We'll just spitfire. What are your favorite tabletop games to play that aren't our own?
I said this earlier on stream. Scythe from Stonemaier Games is the game that got me into more of the hobby board gaming scene, and I've played it more than any other game out there. Also, it's been great. Scythe No Takebacks, as I call it, the digital adaptation. We've played it a couple of times as a team. Scythe No Takebacks, my go-to.
Kyle, what about you?
I feel like I say Tyrants of the Underdark every time, so I'm not going to go down there.
Literally every time.
I'm not going to go down there.
There's a consistency thing here.
I'm going to say Rising Sun. I know you guys talked about it a while, but I'm not good at that game. Okay. And the fact that I like playing it with you guys and the whole experience of like, oh, this is going to be a thing and we're going to do it. And I know I'm going to lose in the end, but I'm all in. So that's Rising Sun for that reason.
I feel like you always play the hardest clans too. You're like,
I think it's my salad bowl. I just want everybody to have a role, and then I get left with the hard clan. I'm like, I have no idea how to play these people. This is gonna be real rough.
Maddox, what about you?
Comet or Cyclades are two great freaking games. I love the fights. I love the bidding in Cyclades, where I'm pushing someone up on bidding and like making them outbid what they should be paying for, whatever. It just feels great. Those games make me feel great.
Maddox is a jerk in that he knows how much money you have every time in Cyclades.
This is what we talked about yesterday with Maddox. Maddox is playing to win the game.
Always playing to win.
Always play to win.
Except for when he learns Scythe for the first time, in which case he bombs really, really bad.
I was playing to learn, because that whole first game you're just learning. I'm just like, what are these actions? I'll take this. I'll do this. Oh, this is cool. This says this. This is like an instruction. The first game is instructions. My second game was still instructions in that game, and I felt like I was like, oh, okay, now I understand.
Okay, it's my 20th game, and I still am learning. There's more. 30th game, 40th game.
So just before I say mine, I just want to circle back on Kyle. So if you missed this morning, Matt and I were talking about this a little bit. What's really awesome, we as a team love getting together and playing Rising Sun. It's like our game that we play when we go to conventions. Might be like my number one thing that I'm missing right now, because we'd be eating dinner and talking about what time we start playing Rising Sun, like literally in this moment at this o'clock or something. So it's just a fun like thing that we really like doing, and I love playing Rising Sun with this group. I don't know if I would play it with anybody else. Like there's a learning curve there, and we just synergize really well. Like we know how each other plays, and it's a good time for sure. For me, my wife and I love social deduction games for some reason. Don't ask me why. Social deduction is totally about lying, and that feels wrong on a lot of different levels, but love those games, love the in your head aspect of those games. So The Thing, which is a collaboration from Mondo and USAopoly a while ago, now out of print, definitely our favorite social deduction game. So much good board game, social deductioning. Huh?
Y'all play that 2-player?
We don't play it 2-player. We play it with groups. I mean, we haven't played it in a little while. It's been a little while since we played that game, more than several months. We did actually get a play over winter though. Good, got our plan for the year since we don't know what's happening next. But we love The Thing, and then for me, just a nice heavy game of Feudum is always a good time. All right, so let me check which order these came in. So we have 2 questions. This is an updates question. We'll let Maddox take the first one. Do you have an update for when Revenge of the Mortals will be released?
Great question. We are really excited about that game. I know we teased it and then said we were doing a Kickstarter on it and then said, hey, this needs more time in the cooker. It is still very much in the cooker, and we're trying to figure out the release plan for that right now.
Turns out we put it in a really tall pot.
Yeah, it's in a crock pot. Actually, I just got a new smoker and I put it in that. And so like if it's going to take a little time to smoke and make it all right. I just smoked my first pork butt last night. Oh my gosh. So, but Revenge, yes. We're really excited about that. I think we have some great vision and ideas that we want to communicate there. We're really excited about exploring more of the campy universe, except from the other side, and just what we want to capture there. There's some cool mechanics that we're toying around with. And I think we want to be more like, just as a company, as we're figuring things out, of like sharing more of what's going on behind the scenes. And I think once we're ready to kind of invite people into play test or kind of give thoughts on that, we can be more on the lookout as we like start streaming some play tests or things of that. Would be the goal. But I think we're, as a company, just trying to develop more of that. That was a turning point for us at Keymaster, of just going like, we can't hit the state. Why can't we hit the state? How are we changing our company culture around this? And just wanting to be more open as we're sharing things. We kind of did that today with Caper and where that's headed to the future, but we'll see what happens here.
Releasing something when it's ready, not when we feel like there's some date pressure.
Yep. Yes.
And that totally comes from me, because I'm the exciting social media communications person who is like, I want to tell you about the stuff, because you're sitting here asking us about the stuff, and I'm like, we should tell them about the stuff. So here, let's talk about it. No promises. We'll release it when it's ready. Matt, speaking of that, the second part of the question is Firebreak. Is this project that's still in the works?
Firebreak is still in the works. It's still in active development, and it still is falling into the camp of in the cooker. We will make an announcement if and when it's ready, but nothing at the moment.
Boom. Let's see. Another question. Excited to hear about the electricity idea. I teach digital electronics at high school. Board game classroom crossover ? Billy, that's an awesome idea. We haven't even thought about it. I think it depends on where the theme of that actually lands and how far into if this game comes to fruition, if it becomes a reality, like how far down the pipe of like real life electricity it follows, because there's a bunch of ideas floating around. But it's really interesting to hear from you as a teacher that, hey, like games are tools that can be used in the classroom, right? I love games in the classroom. I know there are lots of educators out there that you like to use them as tools. So that's a really awesome point. A great shout out. Thank you. And then a follow-up question. Let's throw this to Kyle. Kyle, what is the biggest hurdle you've had to overcome when designing or developing a game?
I think I've heard several other designers say that, and it's not till you get in the middle of it and you get towards like the end of it, and there's some sticky situations, and you realize that the whole thing that's causing trouble is the like one of the original ideas that you really like love, and like one of the children that was like, that's why I want to make this game, that one little thing, and you're like, you gotta let go of that. Like that's like one of the biggest challenges of like when the whole team or the people who are playing it, they're all looking at you and they're telling you over and over that's the thing that needs to go, and you gotta be like, it's the thing that needs to go. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so hard when you're like, y'all, I have this really, really great idea. I cannot wait to share it with you. Like, how many times has this happened to us while we're we use a tool called Figma to do some development, and on Tabletop Simulator where y'all seen us play. We're like, let's get in here and let's play, and then we play for like 10 minutes and we're like, there's just dead silence. There's no joking. Everybody's just like, cool, that didn't really work the way I wanted it to. In my head, that went really, really well, and it turns out it didn't in reality.
You talking about me right now?
No, all of us. that is a group problem. Oh man. All right. Let me see. Almost caught up. Matt, do any of us collect minis and paint them?
Matt, do any of us collect? What she's saying is yes. Some of us collect minis and paint them. I will just show off one because it's sitting right here.
Hey, you went to get something and you didn't break anything.
No, I didn't break anything. I painted an adolescent white dragon the other day for my one of my campaigns. Got a couple mimics up here. I've got a ton of the Lord of the Rings Journeys of Middle Earth minis painted. Some most of my Gloomhaven starter set, but I love painting. I'm trash at it, totally trash at it, and I get like one mini in a month. So when I say I collect minis, I'm more of a collector.
That is one mini more than me. So.
I'm more of a collector than a painter, if you will. I collect minis that one day will never be painted.
That one day will never be painted. Hopeful and yet realistic at the same time. Yeah. So strange.
I pulled out the part of our Rising Sun.
There you go.
Still
nice.
Here. Our set, it'll get completed for our next in-person. So we'll
by the time they're putting it 2021 ish.
I've got plenty of time.
Ish. All right, last question that's in the group. There's two more questions in the group. All right, so Kyle, let's throw this one back at you. Any news on Claims of Gold?
Oh.
Right through the heart.
Every time me and Maddox have a development meeting, we spend at least 30 minutes talking about Claims of Gold, right, Maddox? Is that probably like that's on the counter waiting to be put into the cooker if we're going to use the cooker.
It's on the chopping block.
It's getting seasoned.
It's getting chopped, and we're like, we're never going to
like this.
Let's take this part of Claims of Gold and see if it works in this. Let's take this ingredient and see if it works in the pot that we already have.
Really in a lot of games. Let's talk about that. That's
this thing from Claims into this game. That sounds great. Let's put this thing from Claims into this game. Okay.
Maybe some games you'll see from us in 2021 will be like title and then subtitle, a game from Claims of Gold.
Thank you for asking that. Whoever asked that. Someone always asks that question. It's a great question.
They do always ask.
And we have hope for it yet.
But we've got plans. Yeah, like I said, me and Maddox talk about it a lot.
And how it's making its way into other games. So.
Yes. LaGrange says, I was looking at my Kickstarter and noticed that it was still sitting there, sadly. Honestly, so that I backed that because that was one of the projects before I was a employee here, and it sits there as an unfunded thing for me too. It is a little sad. We just scroll through sometimes and look at it, and be like, hi, Claims of Gold, just stop by. Maddox, here's a question for you from Ryan. Any tips for breaking into the board game industry?
Breaking into the industry.
breaking it down.
Do you want to do design, like mechanics design? Do you want to be an artist in the industry? Do you want to work with a publisher? Is it more just mechanics wise? I would say start making games and fail as fast as you can. Like they're saying, I still fail all the time and bring terrible ideas to.
Saying all of us. I was saying all of us do.
But I think the biggest thing is like do something that you care about. If you're playing a few games and you're like, oh, I love these feelings from this game, or I love this from over here, but like letting a theme sort of drive certain mechanics. The more you play, the more you'll have in this toolbox of like, man, these are really cool ideas, but how do I jumble them together to make something new around that? A new experience around that. So play lots of games, 1, 2. As you start to make games, don't try to get it right the first time. Just make a crappy version and just start playing, and then continue to iterate on that and see where it becomes fun. And sure, play a few rounds by yourself before even showing it to anyone. But then as you start to show it to people, just being really receptive to feedback and just like letting people share what they want to share and listen for their feelings, along with just let them talk. You know, it's like not a time to be like, no, I wanted this to happen, or I want this, you know, but just being really open to how people are receiving your game and ways that you can learn from that, and ways that you can say, cool, that's great that they feel that way, but I want to make something else over here. Yeah. And so just knowing the audience, obviously you are kind of that first audience of like, I want to make a game that makes me feel this way. And then knowing the audience that you're trying to reach with that game and finding ways to put it in front of them, and being a part of Board Game Geek or being a part of communities and giving to them, and then seeing ways where they can give back to you through play testing and things like that. And so that's at least initial steps. I think that for Kyle and I, it was like a lot of the art side of it was like a driving force. Like, we want to make great games with great art. And we were really into super gateway games back then, and we still are into tons of gateway games. I love gateway games. But that was like, how do we make these approachable games with this art? And even starting with some playing card games and tweaking rules from that was like a great starting place for me, just to like get and dive into mechanics. And I still try to do as much research as possible for any game, of like learn as much as possible, play those mechanics, see how they feel like, and then try to figure where you can go to make it your own. At least for mechanics side of things. I'm going to stop talking now.
I'll add to that from like a business side. If it's not design, or you know, like illustrator and design a game, I'd say just offer your help to any company you really like, because you'll find that in the board game industry, most of these companies are just 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, like us, 4 people. There's so much to do. And if you are willing to just reach out and offer some help, and maybe something you already know how to do or willing to do, and I'm not saying work for free. That's a big thing in design and illustration. Like, don't work for free. But if you're passionate about something and you're good at something, and you see that, you know, someone could use some help somewhere, like, I guarantee you no one's going to be like, yeah, no, don't help us. So
yeah, good shout outs, both of you.
That's kind of like what Jen did. That's how
that's how I got employed.
We're paying you though for the help you're offering.
That's how I became
but
an
Jen
employed person.
showed up. That was a cool story. We were at GenCon when we released Campy Creatures. Jen was just super nice though. She was running a board game store at the time, and just continued to show up and be a support to us and say like, I love what you're doing. I love selling your stuff in our store and whatnot. And we developed this relationship, and she has this great marketing ability and being able to talk to people well and listen well. And we, like, for social media, that was just perfect, along with her mind that she brings to games. And so it's been cool to see that relationship grow. It's like, cool, we saw and met you at a conference, and then it turned in from conference into now you're a full-time employee for Keymaster, which is awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. So here's a question for the audience. Should we make more apparel? This is a debate that is internal, like constantly. We go back and forth about it. Everybody loves to talk about how there should be more apparel, but like, you got to show up and buy it too, right? Like, if we're not selling enough of it, then it's hard to do it. But we have tons and tons of ideas to be like, oh, that would be a cool shirt, or oh, that'd be a cool hat. So question to you, while we ask more questions around table, should we make more apparel? And if yes, what would you want to see us make? So here's a question for the group in the breaking into games industry kind of thing. Let's skip down to this question. What is your favorite new tool that you've used to help you product design right now? Again, we're still in this. We've had the ability to do all kinds of research recently. So what's something fun and new you've used that's been really helpful over our last couple weeks and months of development time? Let's start with Kyle. Go ahead.
I said, do we just skip over TTS? Like we can't say Tabletop Simulator because that is that everyone's answers? I mean, that's been the integral tool, being able to still play. Although it has its downfalls of there's lots of interaction stuff you're missing from actual people play. So I wouldn't say it's like the favorite tool, but it has been integral in creating products during this time. I think most recently I bought a tiny, I don't have it here, of course, it's somewhere else, but the tiny metal ruler with all the measurements on it. And I finally stopped stealing Maddox's. That has been, you pull that thing out more than you know, and you're constantly, and that was because we're working on fitting everything inside memories boxes. And right there, Matt, perfect. And Matt is getting the samples from China with the memories, coffin box, and I'm having him pull a metal ruler out. So both my ruler and Matt's ruler together doing the work to get it all right.
Nice. Matt, what about you?
Yeah, I have learned the Adobe suite of design. No, by learned, I mean I have dabbled in Adobe Illustrator, InDesign, and Photoshop. That has been my COVID. I learned something. And let me just tell you, I like spreadsheets a lot better. But that's okay. I've learned that, and that's been really helpful, specifically in Tabletop Simulator, trying to get files in. Doing some grunt design work so that the real masters can put in the good time, illustrating and designing the good stuff.
And you've been doing a great job. I will say that along those lines of Adobe, if you are, I'm a little plebe when it comes to that. So I don't have the Adobe package yet. Instead, I have a website. We use a website called Figma now, and it's free to sign up for. It's got all of the integral tools of Illustrator. So it's a vector system, really easy to make things like card-looking things or shapes and stuff to move them. And what's really cool is that you can have multiple people sign in. So if you're playing around with it or co-designing with somebody, you can both hop in there and move it around. So before we put a game on Tabletop Simulator, we were actually just developing inside of Figma. We've got 2 projects in there that we're working, have used to work on. And that's been like a fascinatingly interesting thing to use for like really simple implementation. It's not giving you kind of user interface feedback. It's really just for mechanical kind of like loops, just being like, hey, does this remotely work? Does it come close to working before you put in the time before Matt puts in the time to put it on Tabletop Simulator. So Figma.com is a really, really great tool, and it's free to sign up for. Maddox, what about you?
I use this tool called a Mannequin, and I put these things in this Mannequin folder, and then it just appears on Tabletop Simulator somehow.
The Mannequin bot?
Mannequin, Matt Aiken.
Matt Aiken.
Mannequin.
No, Matt's been real getting on stuff on TTS. Can't say that enough. As Kawa said, TTS has been the biggest tool we've used like crazy. But also YouTube. I know that's weird, but just watching tons of game videos. I love watching reviews. That's super weird. I love watching run-throughs. I love seeing how people are reacting to mechanics. And I guess that's not a new tool, but it's a tool that I'm always using. And if I'm on a walk, I might pop up a video and just listen to what, reviewers saying about whatnot and stuff. But yeah. I don't need to tell anybody that. Everybody goes to YouTube.
You'd be surprised how many times I've sent YouTube to people ask me like, Matt, how do I do this? And I'll just, there's this website I sent to Jen, not as a joke. I was showing her the site.
He was showing it to me. He was not doing it to me.
Have you ever been to letmegooglethatforyou.com? You just do it's the first letter, so it's an acronym LMGT Let me Google that for you. It literally is a website. You type in a Google search, and then you hit generate link, and when you send it to someone, they open it up. It takes their mouse and it clicks on the box and it types it in for them.
Aggressive. For the record, when he sent it to me, I was feeling really passive aggressive towards somebody, towards not anybody on the team, an interaction I had just had outside of this team, and he was like, "You know what you should have done, Jen." And I was like, man, I wish I knew that literally 5 minutes ago. Literally 5 minutes ago.
You learned a tool, Jen. You learned a tool.
I learned a tool. There we go. Tools. All right. So here's a quick question from the audience, and then we're going to switch over to, we're going to talk a little bit about D&D. We'll dive into D&D. So what is a game that you have not played yet? I'm sure there are many as of this year, but you can't wait to get to the table. Matt, you want to start us off?
Sure. I'm just gonna limit it to my shelf because there's a lot of games that I like really want to get to the table that I just don't know. Twilight Imperium. Okay. Oh wait, sorry, I said I wasn't gonna do that. All right, just looking at my shelf right now, I cannot wait to play. There's so many good options. I will just say Pan Am. So Pan Am, something I picked up at Target a while back. Jen loves it. Several people. Maddox, have you played it yet?
Nope.
Not yet.
Need to.
I heard several recommendations that it's super fun. Funko Games putting out some really fun stuff. And yeah, I'm excited to get it to the table for me.
Yeah. Maddox.
Ooh. Ankh. Eric Lang is the man. I really like his designs. As we keep saying, Rising Sun / Blood Rage was one of the other ones that got us into design, or got us into Matt and I playing games together and designing together and whatnot. And then, yeah, how about Ankh and the new Kemet?
Oh, did you back it?
Oh, we backed it.
Oh, we backed it. All right, Kyle, what about you?
I've got two, and I can't really pick between them because I don't have them yet. They were both Kickstarters. Windward.
Oh, super
excited to get that on the table. Love a good sailing, pickup and delivery. Maddox is looking it up right. He's never heard of it, and he's looking it up right now. We're gonna play it, Maddox. You don't have to look it up.
Wait, I gotta guess for. Are we going
just
Orange Nebula for number 2?
When Maddox goes like this with his chin, that means
he's looking it up. That's right there.
Hold on. I'll be right back. I need to figure out this game.
Yeah. Yeah, super excited about that one. Love the games those guys are making. And then Unsettled by Orange Nebula. Yeah, we're gonna get uncomfortable in some mystical planets. Super excited about that. Love what they're doing. Love what they do as a company too. So
for sure. I will shout out. So these are also two projects that I that aren't here in my apartment. I do have a shelf of shame, but this is what happens, right? There's other things too. So Fort. I talked about a little bit this morning. I cannot wait to play Fort, a game about being a little kid making forts and trying to entice your friends to come hang out with you at your fort. I'd like, what? Yes, absolutely yes. And it's a little deck builder game, but like a twist on deck building. I am here for it 100%. So here, Fort it. So that's one. And two is Project L is really, really, really close to fulfilling. They had some production issues when they were in manufacturing, but I want to call that out as a shout out to them because they were like in mass production, and then one of their components just wasn't up to snuff when they got their MPC, and they were like, you know what, we are not shipping this out, and they made Panda go back and redo it. They sampled some stuff, and they put a huge delay. Like, I don't know if y'all understand. That is not easy. Like when you receive an MPC, that means that your stuff is done. It has been printed. So to receive an MPC and then be like, this is not right, and they had to go resample and then remake a whole piece before they could assemble those games was really, really big. But I just want to give props to them. I super wish that I could think of the name of their company right now so that I could do it. But it's Project L. They also have a space race game. I can't remember the name of the company. Shoot, if anybody knows the name of the company, put it. Yes, Board Cubator. Thank you, Board Cubator. So props to them for being willing to do that. I know it's uncomfortable when you hear that, like from a publisher, when you're kickstarting something and something goes wrong. It's really tough to give that news. Like it's a bummer. Like y'all are upset, we're upset too. So props to them for taking the time to do that. It's coming. It should be here sometime in August. I can't wait. It's like a Tetris-y thing. It looks like it has really nice components and like just a nice light to medium weight game. Looks really sleek and like it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm excited about that one too. Let's see, trucker hats. Somebody asked about trucker hats. I'll just say, hey, I'm actually wearing a Keymaster trucker hat right now. This is something that we gave out for, or we didn't give them out. We sold them.
We never sold those. Hey now.
That was a
not this one. Not this one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Not this one. Not this one. Oh my gosh. Freaking like hats brought it down. We didn't sell those. So we did hats with eye patches for the Campy Creatures Kickstarter that we did last year. And they sold all right. So like you're saying trucker hats, like I get it. I really like this hat, but you got to bring money to the table when we put something out. Got to be ready to throw down for it, So
there's a big debate too, Jen. You got like Maddox loves the felt hat. He's wearing a felt hat.
Oh, they're so good.
These are way too. These are.
They are super expensive, but they're really nice
to make. But
I like a trucker hat, but I don't actually wear hats. So like.
You did that one time at GenCon last year in the truck. You were in the truck wearing the trucker hat.
That was for the gram. I did it for the gram, I think.
You did it for the gram.
I'm thinking through some lines of stuff though that there's some cool integrations with Shopify that allow us to offer things without having a lot of upfront costs, and so we're looking at stuff that maybe we can do down the road.
We'll see. I'll write a spreadsheet about it.
Matt, run the numbers.
Make a spreadsheet. There we go. That's how that goes. All right, so we all play D&D. Turns out we like to play Rising Sun together. We do actually legitimately like to hang out together. So we have a D&D campaign that we're doing and we're running right now. First of all, it is maybe the slowest Dungeons and Dragons campaign that has ever existed. That is not. Matt is our DM. He's a fantastic DM. Like he really rocks it for as far as DMing goes. He's doing an awesome job. So props to him. If you follow our newsletter, you can catch up whenever we do have updates about our Dungeons and Dragons campaign. We post them in our newsletter, so you can catch up. But I thought that I would roundtable as my character. And just go around the campfire and just ask everybody a question as my character, and we're all going to respond in character. And then we'll go on. We'll talk about our milestones and we'll call it a night. So we're going to roundtable really quickly as our characters, and then we'll go on to milestones. Sound good?
Yeah.
So my name is Felician. I'm like this bird creature that I have like chicken legs, and I walk around in a cloak, and I'm kind of a thief. I am pretty much good for nothing, and I'm always looking for the monetary angle and things. So we'll refer to let's see. So Dan he's also in our group, in our campaign. He's not here. So Dan, if you're watching this or if you see this, we're thinking of you while we're doing this too. So I'll just say, I'm gonna start with Matt. So, hey, big voice. big voice person, big creator, world creator. So there was a big flying creature that we had to deal with earlier. Be honest with us. Is it coming back?
Silence.
Can I just
give him the story yet? He doesn't want to.
I know, but now we're campfiring.
Are you gonna make it past the spinning blades of death that you left the last session?
Oh, that's right.
Staring down.
That's right.
Your gnome voice of the gnomes in the.
Hey, what are you doing in here? What are you doing? Hey, what? Yeah. Okay. Hey, listen.
Okay, Ellie.
Take me to your king. Take me to your king, little one. I don't know what to say.
Nope, not taking you to the Kings.
Kyle, why don't you introduce your character?
My character is Malanorn. The group doesn't really like him. I'm pretty sure. He's a furball. He's pretty big. He loves to dig in the dirt, and because he's looking for the best soil to grow plants in, that might be his number one priority. And many times that gets in the way of probably what the group really wants him to do. Many times, last session, he happened to stroll away from the group and received a crossbolt in the shoulder for his actions immediately. He wasn't sure if he was blown out or if it was wine spilling everywhere. It was more the wine spilling everywhere that made him angry. So that's the kind of character that Malanorn is.
Malanorn did avoid potential death at the hands of a mimic, though.
Oh yeah, Malanorn discovered a mimic. It didn't go well. Malanorn's also learning when is the right time to appear and disappear in D&D.
Whatever that trait is or characteristic is of your character.
Yeah.
Happens from time to time.
And the group is still confused about that, I think.
All right, so Malanorn, this is from Felician. Like, you keep collecting this dirt, man. Are you gonna like do something with it?
Good dirt makes good plants, and good plants grow beautiful food for everyone.
I just hope that those plants can get us over these like spinning blades of death. That's really what I'm concerned about.
Maybe if I dig a little bit, I'll find a way to grow a tree that will stop these spinning blades.
Is that your plan? I need you to roll.
I just made that up. Like,
write that down. Write that down. We're just using this as a brainstorming session. So
rolling for.
Maddox, introduce your character.
Ooh, so I'm Cairo, and I'm just kind of cursed and wear like black clothes and have glowing eyes and kind of am the only person doing anything in this whole shindig of a thing.
Whoa.
Kyle over to get some wine, turns out to be a mimic. I have to just, instead of, using my spells, which I should have done, I just slapped it for like 30 minutes with my daggers, doing little bits of damage here and there. And then Jen can just throw fire on it. And it's like, 10 damage every round on this thing. And it's like,
yeah, you're welcome. Sorry, who was doing work there? Was it Felicia or Cairo?
The fire damage in this game is very high. So I'm taking all these things, as
have you ever been on fire, Cairo? Like, it hurts. You were just talking about doing research about fire.
I am a fallen Asimir.
Asimir, yeah.
Asimir, fallen asshole, fallen Asimir.
You have nice. You've many
Asimir, and so sorry.
So GenCon approved, family friendly.
Family friendly for sure. So Cairo, like, you've got this whole like punk rock vibe going on with you. Do you like play any instruments?
That's more of Dana's terrible job of doing that. I just kind of try to shoot fire bolts at the wrong time and try to tackle run straight for danger and like cast spells immediately at the manticores and things like that. That's
a good point. I mean, like, have you ever considered practicing with your fire bolts before going into battle?
That's when I like to practice. Is like best time is like.
You're just like no time like the present.
That's right.
You can only practice once per day, so.
Have you actually hit something with that?
No, he hasn't. He has absolutely not.
Definitely hit something with my stuff. Did it do damage? Maybe not, but I hit it.
That's a good comment.
All that to say, we're really bad at fighting in battle, so we made it like basically 5 minutes into our campaign. Higher voice, how would you say on a scale of 1 to 10, how are we doing?
Are you saying he's higher voice because of his role or because of how he talks?
Is this the higher voice you're talking about?
Because I want to call him God, but I felt like that might not be kosher with everybody, so I'm not doing that. Instead, I'm just calling him higher voice.
Just refer to him as the goblins. It's probably the best way.
hey, NPC controller.
He's not.
You're doing just fine. No, this is great. This is my third campaign that I've DM'd, and y'all are presenting plenty of interesting challenges for me to
Not
solve
the same as
on my end. Also on your end.
It is super challenging. I feel like we've basically had to restart almost like 3 times so far. Like basically once a session, we come to a point where we almost have to restart, I think.
You're doing a great job, dude. This is my second time playing a campaign. The first time it was Kyle's wife, Julie. That was her first campaign. And I tried to walk up a hill and she gave me 20 I tripped up the hill. She didn't know how. Okay. Simple skills check. Can you walk up the hill? I failed. She just humbled.
Shout out to the best GM, Julie. That's right.
Roll the dice.
Hashtag Julie. Someone asks, Lagrange asks, have you ever purchased any of the Beetle and Grimm's versions of campaigns?
My blood is not that rich, or my wallet that heavy. No, we use right now. I mean, so the reason we're doing this is because we can digitally. We're using Roll20 to do this online. And as much as I would love to go down the rabbit hole of spending thousands and thousands of dollars on Dungeons and Dragons stuff, which I'm probably approaching anyway, so maybe I should have just got it all in one box. You know, I'm the candidate here. I'm the one who would be purchasing it. Let's just all be honest. If someone was going to buy it, it's me. But I will also say I'm running 3 campaigns simultaneously right now. I'm in 2 campaigns. I don't need a new campaign to run, because if I bought it, I would just probably go find more people to play with.
It takes a lot of work.
It takes a lot of work.
Beetles and Grams?
That's right. Graham crackers. Look up Beetles and Graham crackers.
Love the Beetles.
Love the Beetles. Love Graham crackers. Together, it makes Dungeons and Dragons. Boom.
Everybody has the Beetles. I'm Paul.
All right. Let's switch over. That's us. I think if you haven't gotten a sense of what it's like to come to team meeting every Tuesday, you have a sense now. That's basically it. We do also do some work in there sometimes. So it's 5 o'clock. And what we want to do now is we're just going to switch in. We have a second part of this that we want to talk about. It's just milestones for us. We're going to give a shout out. A lot of this has to do with you, the community. So we just want to take time to shout out those things that are because of you. And then we'll wrap up. And if you have any other final questions for us, you throw them in our chat, and we'll catch them before we head out. So why don't we start? It looks like our milestones are framed around 4 key topics. 1 is games, 2 is community, 3 is art, and 4 is sustainability. Sustainability doesn't mean for us as a company. It actually means for the world, for our environment. It's been something that we've thought of and talked about a lot in the last year. And we're really grateful for, it's something that we thought about, and just putting out a game called Parks has really made us think about that a little bit more. Yeah. So let's start from does everybody have the list pulled up?
Yep.
Maddox?
Got it.
Okay. Why don't we just start at the top?
Kyle.
Yeah, number 1, hired our first full-time employee, Jen.
What?
Super. That's a huge milestone. If you'd asked me 5 years ago, I actually maybe still don't know how to hire a full-time employee. That's why Matt joined the team. and we, man,
Thanks, Matt.
Things exploded so fast, and Jen has been an integral part of the team for a while, and it was a no-brainer to make Jen a full-time employee, part of the team. Super happy to have her on board. And we talked about how she got in touch with us a little bit earlier, but I remember distinctly, Jen at one point looked at me and goes, "Kyle, you need help with stuff." And I was like, "You know what? You're right. You're right.
Like, I have to deal with Maddox. I definitely.
Based on my conversations,
counseling, social media. Oh, sorry.
She was referring to social media and lots of the community in general, and that's what Jen is so great at. So thank you, Jen. Glad to have you here.
Yeah, and
I'm so happy to be here.
Along those lines, the reason that we were able to do that is because in the last year we sold our 100,000th product, which is completely amazing, overwhelming.
100,000 games, man.
That was on GenCon. One of the other publishers was like, "Just wait till you sell your 100,000th version," and we had sold like 10 at that point, and we were like, "Yeah, that'd be great." You know,
Sure. You want to buy one right now?
Yeah.
No, but that is a tremendous milestone. That is in large part to the Kickstarter community, to our backers who've been with us for now our 5 campaigns that we've run, and we're going into this holiday season ahead of us. And who knows, right? Economy, we've got question marks, but somehow we're still resonating. The games that we're putting out are resonating with folks, and so we just want to keep working on that so that we can continue to support these games that we're making and playing.
And with as we've been learning stuff too, with seeing Park success has been something that's just been completely new for us. And we were in this mode before that where it was just like make nonstop, put out stuff, which we still are making nonstop. We're just trying to make sure we're not that the other stuff wasn't put out right either. It was just all in the moment, and I think we can now allow things to come to full fruition as we're making them, and that allowed us also to work on our first design all together with Nightfall, which I feel like was just really cool to see come together and to spend the development time. It's like, hey, Parks is doing well. We had focused on like 3 or 4 other things during that time before even jumping into Nightfall. And we're like, oh yeah, we should support the thing that's like people are really excited about, and make these other things too. But I think that as we dove into Nightfall, at first I was like, where's this going to go? And then I think we found, I'm really excited to share that as, so that's publishing our first design together as a core group of 4 people. And then Henry also was a developer in that too, Audubon, the creator of Parks. And yeah, that's been just super awesome. And overall, the other, I guess, thing we wanted to celebrate is working with JP and the over 40 artists that are in that game now, with all the artwork across the 2 games. It's just crazy. It's just nuts. And I think that just those artists have been so kind to us and just sharing and seeing the support there. And we love, it's just been just a fun collaboration with artists all around the world. And JP, it speaks volume to his work and capability and talent to work with all these different artists, but still create all these park illustrations that feel so cohesive and unified as they come together.
As far as we've found, there's no other game that has that many artists in it.
Pretty cool.
It's a lot of. If you find another one, definitely let us know. But like as far as we can see, there's no other game that has that many artists collaborating inside of a single project like that.
Yeah. Hey, another big milestone. Again, the art being a huge part of that. So last year we were able to place Parks in Target, in Barnes and Noble. And this year we were able to make a deal with Target, and Target will be carrying Parks this fall. It potentially as early as today, you might be able to see it on your shelf, on their shelves. And I'll just tell you, like, what a dream to be able to put a game with that kind of reach. I mean, it was a dream to put it in Barnes and Noble and walk in and see it for the first time, and now to see it also in Target shelves, where I bought my first copy of Catan so long ago. So it's super cool that Target's going to come along for this ride. Someone asked earlier what they could do. You could tell your friends that there's this cool game, Parks, hanging out in Target. So that was a huge milestone for us this year.
Yeah, that like just it's kind of crazy to think about having a product in Target. That's like there's definitely something that happens there. It's hard to recognize walking up to a product and being like, wow, that's my thing. When you walk up to the shelves.
Yeah.
Another milestone is we ran this year our most successful Kickstarter in terms of dollars spent and backers. Most successful Kickstarter. But it's not just that Kickstarter, it has been an incremental growth. Like we have successfully like improved Kickstarter over Kickstarter. There's been constant growth, and that's crazy. Like that outpouring, over 10,000 people dove in on our Kickstarter at the beginning of this year. That's it's not just the dollar spent, it's the number of people. Like you are making this possible for us. We love making games for you. And it really speaks volumes to us that you love what we're doing too. It makes it possible for us to keep doing it, to keep making awesome things. We're really, really grateful for that. So thank you.
For sure. Thank you all.
Yeah, and with that many people buying Parks and the reach of Parks as it continues to grow, the donation aspect to the National Park Service has been something that we stand behind. It had always been with 59 Parks. They've always given as a part of all the artists that worked on that project. So we wanted to honor that as well with the sale of Parks. And so, this past year we were able to give over $10,000, right, Matt?
Yep.
And to the National Park Service, I did not know this. I think I shared this with the team too. And I expect they send you a letter, of course, when you give them money as a tax thing. But like to get an actual letter from the U.S. Department of the Interior, National Park Service on the letterhead, and it's a thank you note for the donation as well as all the good that will do for the national parks is like that was like getting that in the mail is like, oh, that's such a good feeling, and that's not, that's because of all the people that bought Parks and continue to buy Parks. Yeah. So. Been a super good milestone. So.
And Parks Memories prototype went to the Department of Interior also earlier this year.
It did.
Nice. Yeah, and with Parks and our focus on that has been a huge piece. Just in general of us, we've always tried to create sustainable games. Like our box sizes were always pretty tight to the game itself. And with Parks and with future games, we're working with Panda to just like reduce plastics in general, like wood waste from our games, looking at ways of the boxes to the cardboard boxes that it's stacked in, that they're all sustainable or like recycled materials are going into being used for that. So we're trying to be very respectful, and especially with all our playing cards and things like that, as we work with the United States Playing Card Company, all that is like vegetable-based inks, recycled paper and whatnot that are going into those things so that it is a sustainable forester used, and that we're just being respectful of the earth and taking care or doing our part to at least try to take care of it.
Yeah, and drive for that. Yes, we can say. We can talk about our own desire to do that, but drive for that comes from community involvement. Community care for this is such a huge, it has an impact. You saying that that's important to you lets us know that that's something worth pursuing in gaming, there's a value point there. So it's the community, and it's not just that our Kickstarters have grown. Messaging like this comes out of our community in general growing. Like over the last year and a half, our community engagement and involvement has more than doubled across all of our social media platforms. There are more of you here listening to what we have to say, excited for the stuff that we're putting out than ever before, and it's pretty awesome to hear. Not only that, but you might not know that we have game groups for campy creatures and Parks. Parks is about to hit 1,000 people in that group, which awesome. Is that's a cool amount of people to have in there, and we for sure. I've been talking up hitting that 1,000-person mark, so there's definitely something on the other side of that finish line that that we will share when we get there. So if you have Parks, if you're a Parks lover, if you can't wait to get Parks, you've got it coming. You can search on Facebook for Parks Board Game and join the group. Sign up. It's just a community of people talking about Parks, talking about loving the game, having questions, all kinds of things. It's a really cool group. And there's one again. You can search Campy Creatures card game as well if you want to join that one too.
Cool. Yeah. Hey, last thing. And this kind of plays into our wrap up, but we also launched a web store not only for consumers, where you can go and order games directly from us, which you'll hear it from us often. Buy the games the way you want to buy games. Go to your local retailer, go to Target, go directly from us, buy them on Kickstarter, whatever it may be. We want to give you the option that you, the way you want to support the industry, as your money matters, where you spend it. So we were able to launch a web store this year, not only for consumers, but also we launched a retailer store. So if you have a local game store, or even a local hobby store, they can reach out to us directly and get direct access to our catalog of products. This weekend, for consumers, Keymaster.games, you can go out and get all of our in-stock products for 20% off. You can also pre-order Parks if you don't want to go to Target. You can pre-order it from us, and we'll ship it out in 2 weeks. It'll be the first time it's been available in 2020. So that was the last big accomplishment that we had from this year. There are many more. I'm sure that we could sit down and talk about all the great times that we've had over this last year. We kind of do that every year at GenCon, right? We have a big dinner and we sit down and we say, wow, I can't believe that we get this privilege and honor. So thank you all so much for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've been with us for over an hour. You got to know us a little bit better. Thanks for coming and hanging out. We can't wait to do more of these. Hopefully you liked it, and we can sit down and joke about analogies for teams more in the future. Again, this is a really strange time, and we're really, really grateful for all of this guy. I'm like literally surrounded by technology right now. So super grateful to be able to interact with you and pivot into this mode of hanging out. It'd be awesome to see you in person. It will be awesome to see you in person when we get to do that next and safely. So thanks for participating in GenCon Online. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. I know other publishers are super grateful for you hanging out and us getting this little interaction, even if it's strange and different than what it was before. There's lots of cool things happening this weekend as well. So we hope that you are having a great time so far with GenCon Online, that you continue to have a great time. If you're playing games with your family or your bubble, awesome. If you're participating in events and trying stuff online and seeing other awesome things, keep doing that. We're really happy to have you here. Anything else, guys?
I think you covered it.
Awesome.
Yeah, we miss seeing you in person. That's like so much energy for us, and I think it's a big time for us to spend time together and like see the community, and that's what it's always been about, just like getting together, laughing ridiculously. It's been awesome to do that with Jen and Matt over the past couple of days as we've been streaming games or whatever. And we're just grateful to be a part of this community that is like so welcoming, and it's been awesome. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, with that, I'm gonna throw it over. We'll throw it over to the hey goodbye slide, and we'll catch y'all tomorrow.
Good night, everybody. Have a great time. We will see y'all tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.